Hi all, and welcome back to a new video where we will be motoring on into our Cheltenham Festival Antepost selections and discussion, but mostly focusing obviously on the weekend that was at the Dublin Racing Festival. I see a fair few others are doing their Dublin Racing Festival reviews, and to be honest, I've had a heavy enough weekend, so it's taken me quite a while to get this one out, but it was an absolutely superb weekend of racing at Leopardstown. The crowds were phenomenal. Some very good horses on show. And obviously, the pièce de résistance for us all really was Faugheen winning the Flowgas Novices Chase. Whether you were on or not, I suspect you would have been hard-pressed to not almost have a bit of a tear in the eye watching Faugheen, really. It was fairly emotional scenes, and coming back into the winner's enclosure with him there, and it was packed. I've never seen anything like it at Leopardstown, to be honest. And it was a moment, I suppose, where you needed to almost back away from it and go, I'm seriously here. I'm involved. Well, not directly involved, but I am here. I've been involved in this day. I've seen this happen. Because I don't think something like that will happen very often. So you do have to treasure it when it does come along. I suspect this was kind of what it was like perhaps when Sprinter Sacra returned to win the champion chase and stuff like that. Those sort of emotional scenes where a horse that everyone has grown so attached to delivers at the age of 12, and it was just brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. It made the weekend. The weekend was fantastic as it was. And I suppose just going quickly through, you don't want me harping on. You can hear from other people, who are more in the know than me about the big races. But pretty much going through the grade ones, I thought latest exhibition was really good. Fantastic to see Paul Nolan and Brian Cooper with a good horse. Will go well in an Albert Bartlett. I'm not sure whether he'll win one or not, but will certainly go well in it. I thought Chacun Poursuis put in an excellent display. I thought he was superb. His jumping is phenomenal. And we might get onto that when I'm doing the Cheltenham previews about what I think about the champion chase. I thought Min ran quite well. He looks these days, though, like he does need the step up in trip. He looked beat coming down to the last in the John Dirk, and I was down at Punchestown, and I took the short price about Min for that race, and I was sweating hard, but he rallied well. Perhaps, I think he just deserves a chance at the Ryanair to get him away from horses that he's been running against and give him a new lease of life, hopefully. The Irish Oracle, I thought, was a good performance from the front two, Notebook and Cashback. I'll hold my hands up about Notebook because I kind of put him down. I thought he put in an excellent performance. I think the two, you've got to kind of be, not sceptical, but they're two very good novice chasers. Let's be all honest with ourselves. They are not the two best novice chasers we have ever seen. But in the context of this year, in the context of the lack of English challengers, I think Notebook and Cashback will both hit the frame in the Arkle. And probably one of them wins it, because I thought they went a very good gallop. They both jumped pretty well. Cashback just missed two out and rallied well, though, and they were 7 lengths, 8 lengths clear Gallant John Joe. Don't discredit that form because of Gallant John Joe. He is an excellent horse around Leopardstown. He was third in the Grade 1 Novice Hurdle last year. He was second to Mellon over Christmas and now third in that race. He loves it round there. He's a good horse. He won't be anywhere at Cheltenham, but he's a good horse at Leopardstown, so don't discredit the form off the back of him. And the Irish Champion Hurdle. We'll get on to that in a little bit, because one of my Antepost selections is coming from a horse that ran in the Irish Champion Hurdle. I thought Honeysuckle was decent. She rallied very well, but her jumping needs a heap of work, and there just screams Lorena vibes to me about this all. We want her to be really good. We want her to be a 2-mile hurdler, but she just doesn't jump like it. She jumps like she's a 3-mile chaser. And I think she could be a cracking chaser next year. I don't know whether they'll go down that route even. But she rallied very well. Darver Star's not a bad horse, but he's no champion hurdle horse. Petit Mouchoir actually ran a cracking race. So we'll get onto that maybe in a bit more. Honeysuckle, I wouldn't back her for the champion hurdle. Let's just put it that way. On the second day, the Spring Juvenile Hurdle, absolute disaster. living disaster because we were, well, I was certainly all over away with the sea for the Fred Winter, and he's gone and won the Grade 1. And I wasn't on either. It was a disaster. Aspartar fell. Cerberus, I think, hit 100s on in running, and then completely stopped as if he was shot. I think Aspartar would have won, but it wouldn't have been impressive. Let's be honest. He would have maybe won by a length or two. I'd have serious doubts about him now for the Triumph Hurdle. Maybe the two Looney Tunes over in England have a better chance. Or maybe our one, Botox Haas, can run a big race. But it's hard to know. I think they're going to have to now run away with the sea in the Triumph, which is an absolute disaster. Dear. It was a good bet. It was the right horse, but just a matter of things have happened that have prevented him from coming third yesterday, which is where I thought he would come and where he looked like he was going to come, and then he'd run in the Fred Winter, but he's gone and won the race. Anyway, no point crying over spilt milk. The 2 mile novice hurdler, Asterion Forlange, really, really good performance. They went a very good clip. I think Easy Work's a very good horse, but you know, he won over 2-4 on heavy at Limerick. This was 2 miles on pretty good ground. I think Asterion Forlange is a proper tool of a horse. And just, I know they've got other good horses, the Donnelly family. Run this horse in the Supreme. It would win the Supreme in my eyes. I think he's the best Irish novice hurdler at 2 miles, considering I've kind of given up. MYLN won't run over 2 miles, which he probably should, but he won't. And I think this horse is our best 2 miler. Then Abracadabras wouldn't touch him. I don't think that hype job Shishkin would touch him. So I think he's a proper tool of a horse. The Flowgas, we've discussed it about Faugheen. Look, the form isn't spectacular, but it's not bad. And to be honest, in the context of yesterday, I couldn't care less, to be honest. It means he'll probably go and run at Cheltenham. I'm going to be there at Cheltenham, so it's fantastic. I might get to see him again. Look, I don't know whether he actually can win a race at Cheltenham. He's not a particularly good jumper. He's safe. But he's got an almighty cruising speed, and he was able to give away lengths and still win a Grade 1, which, you know, was a fair effort. And the Irish Gold Cup, I'm going to say it point blank, I think it's windy. I think it's completely windy. I think Delta Work doesn't get in the top 3 of a Gold Cup. Kenboy, I told you before, I fancied him for the Irish Gold Cup, but I don't think he stays a Gold Cup trip. And Presenting Percy actually travelled really well. But I was looking back at it, because I was wondering, because everyone was kind of scratching their head about it. When you go back to his Novice Chase campaign, which was when he was obviously very good, he didn't find much off the bridle. He didn't find over much off the bridle at Cheltenham. He won obviously a Porterstown, but he didn't come off the bridle. He was travelling better than our Duke in a Red Mills chase and got out-battled. Perhaps he just doesn't find too much off the bridle. He ran a nice race. I don't think any of them goes close in a Gold Cup, though. I don't like Delta Work. I don't know what it is. And to be honest, all of this, I think, is enhancing Album Folk. The fact he stood in his box at home is enhancing his own reputation. I still think he's definitely the one to beat in a Gold Cup. And also just one which is actually shaping up like it's my best Antepost tip so far. I put up Appreciated at 16-1 for the champion bumper. Just so none of you guys think it either, I put it up a week before Gavin Lynch on upping the ante. Gavin Lynch, much better tipster than I am, but I got him on that one. He only got 14s, I got 16s. And he's now 3s, and he will win the champion bumper. He is so good. I've never seen a bumper performance like it at Leopardstown, and it was a really good field as well. Anyway, we've ranted on about the Dublin Racing Festival. Do leave your views below. What did you think of all those good races, and what was your horse to take out of it? But I've got 3 to take out of it, which are my 3 Antepost selections, and I'm going to whiz through them. Starting off with a horse in the Pertemps final even, and it's one I have been banging on about all year, and he's run another okay race. yesterday in the William Fry handicap hurdle, finishing 4th, which will eke him up a couple more pounds to get him into the Pertemps, and it is 2A per me. I do think one of these is going to land his way. He's still 14-1. He'll come in now off one of the bottom weights. It's obviously been a bit of a ploy that this is the way they're going to go. They've been steadily bringing him along, and I do think there will be a big day in him. A horse like Tracy's Enniscorthy, you'd love to own Tracy's Enniscorthy, you'd love to train him. But these races, like the Pertemps qualifier at Christmas, the race yesterday, that's his Pertemps final. It's not 2A per me's. Neither was it Colin Maffire, who has a chance in the Martin Pipe. But 14-1, I'm prepared to weigh in that race. The second horse also comes from that William Fry handicap hurdle, but I'm not putting him up for the Pertemps. I am putting him up for the Coral Cup, and it is the Jam Man, trained by one of the bigger personalities of Irish racing, Ronan McNally. He obviously has a very enthusiastic son as well, who's nicknamed Tubbs McNally. Great bloke. I remember, off tangent story here, but I was at Stratford once over on a cricket trip, and anyway, we went to Stratford, and Ronan McNally won with a horse called the Trigger. Dickie Johnson rode it, and he won, and they'd had a massive bet on it, I think. He was 3s in the morning, he went off 5-6, he won by half the track. And I remember Tubbs McNally was around 4 or 5 years old at the time, going absolutely berserk in the parade ring, and I've remembered him ever since. But anyway, going back to the Jam Man, he won 4 on the trot, 3 low enough grade races over in England before winning at Navan. He was then 4th in a 3-mile handicap at Cheltenham before coming 2nd yesterday. Both those times, he's just implied to me, even though he's won over 3 miles before, that perhaps 3 miles does slightly take it out of him stamina-wise, and I'll be hoping that they think that as well and they drop him to 2-5. I think he'd have a good chance. He'd be probably middle of the pack weight-wise in a Coral Cup. He's 20-1 at the moment, and I've taken a little each-way squeak on that. And lastly, it comes from a horse in the Irish Champion Hurdle that I'm going to be putting up for the Champion Hurdle itself. And it is Super Sunday at 33-1. His Cheltenham form lies with a okay run in a very good Supreme. He came 6th in the Supreme behind Altior. Then he won a Coral Cup. He came 2nd in a Stayers Hurdle before finishing 7th in the Stayers Hurdle last year when he just didn't get home. He ran his customary race first time out on Saturday. He looked like he was going to be pulled up around 2 out. Stuck to the task really well, came 4th. They will now go and run him in the Red Mills Hurdle. He mightn't even win that. He's a very stuffy horse, but he'll run at Cheltenham Aintree and punch us down, and he'll win at least one of those 3 festivals. I can almost guarantee it to you now. I just think he is a mad price for the Champion Hurdle. It's his only entry. He's not entered in the Stayers Hurdle. So this is the race they want to run him in, because maybe they see that he didn't stay the Stayers Hurdle trip, he wouldn't beat Paisley Park, and this Champion Hurdle is pathetic, let's be honest with ourselves. 33-1 is a massive price about a horse that's always trying, he's always giving it his best, and he'll be on the day waiting to go. Stamina will kick in, turn him for home, and hopefully he can hit the frame. I think he was the biggest eye catcher almost of the whole weekend. I couldn't have him for the weekend because of his record fresh, so I thought it was a really, really encouraging run. Anyway, I want to hear your guys' views as well, though. Who did you take out of the Dublin Racing Festival? Do you think those 3 are right? Do you think they're wrong? I know I got a bit of stick on Twitter. I said that if Honeysuckle and Super Sunday were to run in a Champion Hurdle, Super Sunday would reverse the form. It was a ballsy shout. I will admit it was a ballsy shout, but it's a game of opinions, and I've just made one for you there. So you guys can discuss that with me down below. If you did enjoy this video, and if you keep enjoying these videos, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. Very good of you. And also, my Twitter's in the link. Do go follow that as well if you want more kind of daily stuff as well. We're getting towards Cheltenham. There'll be Cheltenham preview videos up, I would say, in a week or two's time. I don't want to shoot the gun too soon, so we might just hold fire for a week or two, see a few more things happen, maybe the Denman chase next week. And yeah, I hope to see you guys then. I would say perhaps the next video might be the day one preview of the Cheltenham Festival. So until then, hope you have a good time, hope you have a profitable day tipping, and best of luck.